Let's talk about money. Not how to earn more, not how to invest, but how to budget, step by step. Because if you don't know where your money is going, it doesn't matter how much you make. And here's the thing, most people don't track their money. They just hope it works out. Spoiler, it doesn't. So let me break this down. Let's begin where most people assume they already have the answer. How much money do you make? You probably have a number in mind. Maybe it's rupee 50,000 a month. Maybe it's rupee 1 lakh. But here's the thing. That's your gross income. Amount before anything is taken out. What you really need to know is your net income. What actually lands in your bank account. Because that's the money you get to spend. Everything else is just a number on paper. Why does this matter? Because budgeting starts from a place of reality, not illusion. If your gross salary is rupee 60,000, but after taxes, PF, insurance and loan deductions, you only receive rupee 43,000. Then your budget starts at rupee 43,000, not a rupee more. Most people build plans based on their salary slip, not their bank balance. That's like planning a trip based on Google Maps screenshots without checking real-time traffic. Your income might also include side hustles, freelancing, rent from a flat, or dividends. List all your sources. But again, if a client hasn't paid you in 3 months, don't count that money in your budget. Optimism is great for life, not for budgeting. Once you know your total monthly take-home, break it down further. Is your income consistent? If you're salaried, it probably is. But if you freelance or run a small business, your income might jump 1 month and drop the next. In that case, calculate your average monthly income over the last 6-12 months. Budgeting for unpredictable income requires even more awareness and discipline. This is also a good time to reflect. Are you underestimating your income or overestimating it? A lot of people round off numbers casually. You think you earn rupees 70,000, but you actually get rupees 64,500. That rupee 5,500 difference every month, that's rupees 66,000 a year. That could be a vacation, an investment, or emergency money. So be precise. Your future self thank you. Don't forget deductions that aren't monthly. Some expenses like insurance premiums or annual subscriptions might be deducted quarterly or once a year. Break those down into monthly equivalents so you don't get blindsided. If your annual health premium is rupee 12,000, set aside rupee 1,000 per month. Starting now, that's part of your budget, even if it's not part of your current bank deduction. Lastly, once you know what's really coming in, write it down. Don't just keep it in your head. Use a budgeting tool, a notebook, a Google Sheet, whatever works. The goal is to create clarity. The first step of budgeting isn't about restriction. It's about awareness. Know what you earn. Know what you earn. Know what you keep. Only then can you decide what to do with it. Now that you know how much you make, it's time to figure out where it all goes. Most people say, I don't know how I run out of money every month. It's not a mystery. It's just a lack of tracking. Think about this. If I followed you around for 30 days and wrote down every rupee you spent, every tea, every ride, every online order, you'd be shocked at the end of the month. Not because you spent on something crazy, but because small mindless spending adds up. A rupee 200 meal here. A rupee 99 subscription there. A rupee 500 on random UPT transfers you don't remember. These tiny leaks drain your financial bucket. Slowly, silently. That's why tracking expenses is the foundation of budgeting. It's not about judging your spending. It's about becoming aware of it. So, how do you do it? Simple. Choose your method. You can use apps like Walnut Money Manager or Spendy. They link with your SMS inbox or bank and automatically record your spends. Or maybe you're a spreadsheet person. Great! Create a Google Sheet and log expenses daily. If you love old school methods, use a notebook. Just make sure you write down everything. Yes, within that rupee 30T. But here's what matters most. Consistency. It doesn't matter what tool you use if you stop after 3 days. Build it into your routine. Set a reminder every night to note your expenses. Make it as regular as brushing your teeth. You'll be surprised how empowering it feels to know exactly where your money went that day. Also track in categories, not just amounts. If you spent rupee 400, break it down. Was it food, transport, entertainment? By grouping your expenses, you'll start seeing patterns. You'll notice you spent rupee 4,000 on takeout and rupee 1,200 on subscriptions you barely use. These insights are gold. They help you make changes without feeling lost. Here's another tip. Don't rely only on memory. You will forget. Check your rupee history, debit card statements, and SMS alerts. Make this a weekly ritual. Go back, check, and plug in anything you missed. It's not obsessive. It's responsible. And remember, no one else is going to do this for you. Not your bank, not your parents, not your employer. Only you can track your money. Once you do, you stop wondering where it all went and start telling it where to go. Once you know how much you earn and where your money is going, it's time to sort it out. Not all expenses are equal. Some are essential, some are optional, and some are your future in disguise. This is where the needs wants savings method comes in. It's simple, but it's powerful. Let's break it down. Needs are non-negotiables. The things you must pay for to live and function. Rent, groceries, electricity, Wi-Fi, transport to work, medicines. These are not optional. Without them, your life comes to a standstill. Most people spend 40%, 50% of their income here. Sometimes more if they live in expensive cities. The goal is to keep this reasonable, but never compromise on basics like food, health, or shelter. Then come wants. And this is where it gets tricky. Wants are things that feel necessary, but aren't. Third streaming subscription, the rupee 500 coffee shop visit, the Zara shirt you bought just because it was on sale. Nothing wrong with enjoying life, but this category is where overspending hides. Wants make us feel good temporarily, but if not tracked, they hijack your savings. Finally, savings. Most people think savings is what's left over. That's the wrong mindset. Savings should be a category, just like rent or groceries. Treat it like a bill you pay to your future self. This includes your emergency fund, mutual fund, SIP, retirement plans, or even money you're putting aside for a vacation. It's not optional. There's no perfect rule, but a common guideline is the 50-30-20 rule. 50% on needs, 30% on. Wants 20% on wants, 20% on savings. But this isn't set in stone. If you're in debt or saving for something big, your savings might need to be 30%. If you live with family and don't pay rent, your needs might be much lower. Just based on your reality, but make sure each category is clearly defined. The point isn't to create the perfect balance. The point is to create awareness. So, once you start grouping your expenses this way, you'll be able to say, I'm spending too much on wants this month. And you'll have the data to back it up. That's when you gain control. So next time you spend, ask yourself, is this a need, a want, or savings? Just that one question can change your spending habits. It forces you to pause, reflect, and choose, instead of just swipe, pay, and forget. Once you've divided your expenses into needs, wants, and savings, the next step is simple, but powerful. Set limits. No, I'm not talking about vague mental notes like I'll try not to eat out too much this month. That doesn't work. You need actual numbers. Numbers give you a budget structure. They draw a line in the sand. Without limits, your spending will always expand to match or exceed your income. Let's say your take-home income is rupees 60,000 a month. And now break that into categories. For example, you decide rupee 30,000 goes to needs, rupee 15,000 to wants, and rupee 15,000 to savings. Decide what matters and the budget just holds you to it. These limits act like guardrails. Without them, you're driving blindfolded. You'll keep spending, not realizing that you've blown through the money meant for rent or savings. That's when stress hits. Stress hits. That's when you start using credit cards for groceries. And your money starts controlling you instead of the other way around. What should you do when you hit a limit in a category? Simple, stop, or adjust. If your eating out budget was rupee 3,000 and you've spent rupee 2,800 by the 15th, you know you need to slow down. Can you cook more at home? Can you switch to cheaper options? Or can you pull from your wants budget, but not from savings? The limit forces you to make conscious decisions. You can also build in mini limits inside each category. For example, under wants, rupee 3,000 for entertainment, rupee 2,000 for shopping, rupee 1,000 for random impulse buys. You'd be surprised how just knowing the cap makes you pause before spending. It's not about guilt, it's about awareness. Budgeting is flexible, but even when you adjust, stay within your total income. That's the golden rule. One last thing, setting limits doesn't mean you can't enjoy your money. It means you enjoy it with intention. When you spend within a plan, even a rupee 500 treat feels good. Because you know it's part of the budget, not a step toward regret. Let's talk about regret. Let's talk about the one rule that can completely flip how you handle money. Pay yourself first. Most people do the opposite. Get their salary, start spending. Rent, groceries, fuel, Zomato, shopping, coffee. And then, if there's anything left at the end of the month, they think, okay, let me save this. Spoiler, there's usually nothing left. Or worse, they dip into credit cards, thinking they'll catch up next month. It doesn't work. Paying yourself first means the moment your salary hits, the first thing you do is take a portion out and move it to your savings or investments. Not after bills, not after spending. First, immediately. First, immediately. You're treating your future self as the top priority, not an afterthought. Let's say you decide to save 20% of your income. Your salary is rupee 60,000. As soon as the money comes in, move rupee 12,000 to a separate savings or a investment account. Like you never had it. What's left? Rupee 48,000 is what you now use for rent, bills and wants. This forces you to live within your real budget, not your full income. Sounds simple, but it changes everything. When you save first, you start building wealth by default. No stress. No big emotional decision at the end of the month. Just discipline. And over time, those early savings become your emergency fund, your down payment, your travel fund, your freedom. You can even automate it. Set up a standing instruction on the first or second of every month. Have the money go directly into an CPFD or savings account. Remove the friction. Remove the temptation. You won't miss the money you never see. Some people say, but my expenses are too high. I'll save when I earn more. That mindset will follow you forever. If you can't save rupee 1,000 out of rupee 10,000, you won't magically save rupee 10,000 out of rupee 100,000. It's not about the amount, it's about the habit. Remember, you work hard for your money, but your money should work hard for you too. Paying yourself first makes that happen. You're not just earning to spend, you're earning to grow. Most people set a budget once, maybe at the beginning of the month, and then completely forget about it. That's like setting a fitness plan and never checking your weight or diet again. You have no idea if you're on track or way off. That's why weekly reviews are essential. They're not overkill. They're your financial check-ins. A 15-minute reality check that can save you thousands in the long run. Pick a day. Sunday works well. Or Friday night if you want to get it out of the way before the weekend splurge. Just make it a habit. Sit down, open your expense tracker, bank app or spreadsheet and look at what happened this week. What did you spend? Which category to go into? How much is left in each limit? It's okay if you overspend. The point is not to feel guilty. If you find out you overspent your food budget by rupee 1,000 on week 1, you still have 3 weeks to adjust. Maybe cook more meals at home. Maybe cancel one dinner plan. But if you don't check until the end of the month, there's nothing left to adjust. That's how budgeting fails. That's how budgeting fails. You'll also notice patterns. Are you consistently overspending on cabs? Maybe it's time to get a travel pass or start using public transport more often. Are you paying for a subscription you forgot about? Cancel it. These small corrections don't require big lifestyle changes, just awareness and small tweaks. Use the weekly review to realign your spending with your goals. Are you on track with your savings target? Alright. If not, can you boost it next week? Do you spend too much on wants? Cool. Spend less next week. The budget is not rigid. It's not here to punish you. It's a living, breathing plan. You're allowed to shift it, as long as you're shifting it with intention. This is also a good time to update anything you missed during the week. We all forget to log small cash spends. Maybe that rupee 40 chai or rupee 150 parking charge. Use your bank history, QPay apps or SMS to plug those gaps. Make your data as accurate as possible. That's what gives your budget meaning. Don't underestimate the emotional benefit. Weekly reviews give you a sense of control. You stop dreading your bank balance. You stop avoiding your spending. You start saying, I know exactly where I stand. That confidence carries over into the rest of your life. Because when your money is in order, your mind is clearer too. Here's where the magic happens. Once you start tracking and reviewing, you'll begin to see the areas where you can cut back. But here's the thing. Cutting back doesn't mean sacrificing everything you love. It just means cutting out what doesn't truly matter to you. Let's be honest, a lot of our spending is mindless. We buy things just because they're convenient, on sale, or because someone else has them. That daily rupee 250 coffee at the fancy cafe. That rupee 400 monthly subscription to a magazine you never read. Or that rupee 5,000 on clothes that you didn't really need. These things add up, but the key question is, does it bring value to your life? Cutting what doesn't matter isn't about being cheap. It's about being intentional with your money. If you love going out for coffee every morning, don't cut that. But maybe you can switch to a cheaper place. Or maybe you can make coffee at home a few days a week instead of a day. The goal is to find balance, not to live in deprivation. Start by identifying your impulse buys. These are the purchases you make without thinking. The random things you throw into your cart online. The unplanned splurge at the mall. Take a step back and ask, do I really need this? Will this add lasting value to my life? More often than not, the answer is no. Look at your subscription. You don't need 3 streaming services. You don't need multiple fitness apps. One will do. When you cut subscriptions you rarely use, you're freeing up money for what truly matters. That could be more savings, better experiences, or simply peace of mind knowing you're not throwing money away. Another place to cut is spending to impress others. Whether it's buying designer clothes, dining at the trendiest places, or keeping up with the Joneses in some way, none of it leads to long-term happiness. In fact, it often leads to stress and regret. Be honest with yourself. What do you enjoy? The answer might surprise you. Look at your lifestyle. Can you simplify it? That doesn't mean living like a monk. But can you reduce unnecessary extras that you don't actually care about? Maybe you don't need the premium cable package. Maybe your phone bill can be reduced by switching to a plan that fits your actual usage. Start small, but start now. The best part? Cutting back where it doesn't matter actually gives you more freedom. You get to decide where your money goes. You get to choose experiences that make you happy. Or you can use the savings to fund your future goals. Either way, cutting back where it counts gives you control over your financial future. Let's be real. Discipline is hard. Life gets busy. You forget things, motivation fades. That's why automation is your best friend when it comes to budgeting. It takes willpower out of the equation. When you automate your finances, you're not depending on daily motivation. You're building systems that run in the background, quietly, consistently, while you focus on living your life. Think of it like setting your finances on autopilot. The less manual effort you need to stay on track, the more likely you are to actually follow through. Start with savings and investments. The moment your salary comes in, set up an auto debit to move a fixed amount into a separate savings or investment account. Could be a mutual fund SIP, a recurring deposit, or even just a different bank account. This is how you pay yourself first without having to remember every month. Then automate your bill payments, rent, electricity, phone bills, ME, insurance premiums. Set reminders or use autopay features on your bank app. This saves you from late fees, stress, and the mental clutter of remembering 10 different due dates. One-time setup, lifetime relief. You can also automate budget alerts. Many expense tracking apps allow you to set limits and notify you when you're near them. For example, if you set a rupee 5,000 limit on food and hit rupee 4,500, the app pings you. It's like a gentle nudge from your future self saying, hey, slow down. Even roundup saving works well. Some apps automatically round up every transaction and save the change. You buy something for rupee 143. It rounds up to rupee 150 and puts rupee 7 into savings. Small amounts, but they build up over time and you won't even feel it. The beauty of automation is that it reduces friction. You don't have to rely on memory or mood. The system works whether you're feeling productive or lazy, whether you're having a good month or a bad one. Automation gives you that edge. It's the lazy person's way to stay financially smart. And sometimes being lazy the right way is actually the smartest move you can make.